You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. Listen online, the website that rocks, KMOD.com. Past shows are available on iTunes. Search under BMMS. Listen with your cell phone. Get the iHeartRadio app. Available from the App Store of your cell phone provider. More on that at iHeartRadio.com. And we're on Facebook. Facebook.com/BMMS69. That's where you can hang out with us each and every day. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Corbin.
Good morning, Gimpy.
Well, good morning.
We got tickets to see Mudvayne and Static X. They're going to be at the Tulsa Theater on October 9th. Get your tickets, tulsatheater.com.
Rock and roll!
Got Taser Time trivia. We've got Willy Nilly. Qualifying people for CMall 2025. And Tammy Swanson of Broken Arrow heard the cue. So now Tammy's in the running. Every concert KMOD is a part of, including VIP Weekend Rocklahoma tickets. Sorry, I was checking the date. We're just a couple weeks out from the giveaway, so you want to make sure you're getting qualified every hour with us and then throughout the day with Mel and J-Rod. It's all from Yingling Flight and 97.5 KMOD.
Hooray!
And it's Friday, so beer. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? Case of the 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. Friggin' A Friday. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for?
Uh-oh.
50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. So I saw this meme, and it sent me down a rabbit hole. And I'll read the meme to you and see if you guys feel the same way. And it says, the Hanks family are a compelling case study for nominative determinism. I'll come back to that. If you call your kid Colin, you're getting a Colin. And if you call your kid Chet, you're getting a Chet. For those who don't know, Colin Hanks looks very clean cut. A guy you would trust with a bag of gold.
For sure.
Right.
Chet, the exact opposite. You wouldn't trust him with your bag of groceries. One looks like he does drugs, a lot of them. Another one looks like he's never touched a drug a day in his life.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
So that sent me down the rabbit hole of nominative determinism. This is a fairly recent phrase from the mid-90s. And the definition of it is it's a theory that's suggesting people are drawn to careers and roles that somehow resonate with their names. Okay? And I have some examples to share with you and see if you disagree. Now, I thought all these were fake when I found them. And sure enough, these are real names. Let's go with two you know right out of the you should know, and if you're into these industries, Scott Speed is a NASCAR driver.
Right. And it kind of makes sense. Last name Speed, drives fast.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's the last name, though.
Doesn't matter.
So first or last doesn't matter.
Correct.
Okay.
Still a name.
Usain Bolt.
Yeah. He's a runner.
Fast.
Fast.
Yeah.
Fastest man.
That, just a couple, right? How about firefighter McBurney?
Is that a real name?
Yes. When I sent you the link, there's pictures. Now, maybe they doctored him. I don't know.
I don't know.
Or a guy who works for the Center for Social Justice, Christian guy.
Les McBurney.
Or a chiropractor called Dr. McCracken.
Okay.
Or the neuroscientist, Lord Brain.
Wow.
Or how about the lawyer? I'll let you guess what cultural descent she is. Sue Yu. Or a cashier named Ka-ching.
I don't know.
It's on the name tag, Gimpy.
I see it, but Photoshop is an amazing thing.
Maybe. Or how about these guys that got arrested for weed, Gregory and Timothy? I'll let you guess what their last name is.
Now, I'll give you that because
Weed.
I went to high school with a kid named Adam Weed, and that was his legit name.
Did he smoke?
And he was a partaker. Yeah. I haven't seen that kid in decades. But all right, I'll give you that.
I didn't know there were so many people that gravitated towards this. Or how about the guy who works in the meat department, the meat manager, Brad Slaughter?
Okay.
Or the doctor called Dr. Doctor.
Get out of here.
Or the gastroenterologist, Joshua Butt. Or the eye doctor, Ashley Seawright.
Okay.
Or the meteorologist, Storm Field.
That's fun.
Now, the
Or the
Ashley's-
correspondent, Matthew Correspondent. Or the kid who is a runner, Aaron Farr. Or a run far.
the C right, I is really believable because of the spelling of it.
Right.
Seawright. Yes, pronounced C right, but the spelling C right is very believable.
See, and I have a problem with these, right? Because didn't we have a traffic guy way back in the day that went by the name of Lane Closure?
Radio names
Yes.
don't count.
I'm just saying, people make up names for themselves all the time.
Radio names, entertainment names don't count.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're not the lane closure is made up because it's funny.
Right.
It's close, yeah. It's French.
Crash Daily.
Right. Rex Daily. That was my traffic name.
There it is. Yeah. How about the archaeologist Pam Graves?
Okay. That'd be better suited for like a grave digger.
Archaeologists dig stuff up.
I guess
Yeah.
you're right.
Graves of their fossils, their graves.
Yeah.
Or the tree climber Scott Forrest.
That's funny.
The French editor Peter France. I didn't know it was so common. Like, so if you name your kid something like, Guy Burger.
Right.
He's destined to work fast food for the rest of his life.
I don't know if I
or be a cook.
I don't
anyway.
know if I agree with the industry you go into, but I do agree with how we started this and the names of like I don't know very many Chets
Right.
that aren't troublemakers.
Right.
The only time when I think of the name Chet, all I see is the brother in Weird Science.
Yeah, he was a troublemaker.
Yes.
Right.
That's
He's
what
a
I'm saying.
bully.
I don't think of that because we've got a listener named Chet Bates. He qualified for CMall 2025 earlier this week.
Yep.
And I don't think of him as a troublemaker. The only thing I think of when I hear his name, Chet Bates, is his great-great-grandpa was a slave owner and they called him Master. Master Bates.
No, I know. I'm letting it hang. I don't know anything about Chet. I've seen his name obviously a bunch of times.
Yeah, solid dude.
And I clearly didn't know his grandfather.
Yeah,
not with
so-
two kids.
yeah.
And so I just think the names match up. I know people named Tex,
Right.
and they fit it like a glove.
Right.
Right. Big, burly, cowboy-esque. But is Tex like a real name or is that like a nickname?
No, that was like their name. And I know girls named, no joke, real name, Mercedes.
Okay.
And they live up to that name.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know very many Pentecostal Mercedes.
Oh, that's a true statement.
Yeah.
I was going to think I've
Cliche
I've
Pentecostal.
only known one Mercedes in my life. And, yeah, I guess. I mean, she was kind of bougie, I guess, if you think about it.
I'm going to start paying attention to the people and their names and see if their name. Hell, we do it already. We've mentioned it before with like hot names.
Right.
So I think it plays out. I didn't realize how obvious it was until I saw this stupid meme.
Yeah.
Well, then you should get out of radio and start a body piercing, company.
Right?
Right? Or like a swordsmith or something.
I can't wait. You did work at a burger joint,
That is
Yeah.
true. True. And it was Backyard Burgers, so several burger joints. So
and Lindsay can get into the stink business. Or weed.
right.
It's true.
It's the only one I can come up with her last name.
Right. I never really thought about it like that, but I guess it kind of makes sense. Doesn't fit for everybody, but more than what you would expect.
Right. But I don't know, like Michael, as an example, isn't a name, or even Leslie, Lindsay, to be honest, is the, like, I can't vision what that person is.
Right.
Like a Chet, I can vision what that person is.
Yes.
Or a Corbin, by the way. Like, I can't.
Right. That's fair because like our names are very common names.
Yeah.
So but like with Chet, it's not that common. Mercedes, not that common of a name.
Okay.
So I can see where it's like, all right, well, your name is Chet. You look like a Chet. That makes sense. Just because it's so uncommon.
Yeah. I just felt like I hadn't had an epiphany like that in a while. When you're like, well, son of a bitch.
I got your eyes wide open this
Yeah,
morning.
I see you. I see you all out there.
This text here says, I used to go to a guy named Dylan Weed. I'm imagining that was his dealer back in the day. Two brothers from Sand Springs named Peter and Willie Wackerman. What's your name? Willie Wackerman.
I mean, I'm changing my name to either Will or Pete.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm sticking with Peter and Willie.
Wackerman. That's funny.
Somebody texted in, I've been thinking about this and was like, my name doesn't fit my career as a diesel mechanic. And then I realized my name is Hunter. And I just happen to be a very successful archery hunter with multiple animals in the Pope and Young record books. Two interesting things there. I don't know what the classification for very successful archery hunter is, but good on you.
Yeah.
And the Pope and Young record books, I didn't know are a thing.
What the hell? I'm going to have to dig into that.
But good for you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I am a big believer in archery hunting. I think it is the purest form of hunting.
Yeah.
It is not for the lighthearted.
No, it takes major skill.
Yes, and I'm
Patience.
sure those that rifle hunt would have an argument. It definitely sits to sit in a stand takes patience for sure, but archery hunting's on another level. It is, I think, incredibly more challenging than it is to hunt with a rifle. To do that, a large percentage of people named Art go on to become architects or do art.
Artists.
Yeah.
Artistes. Yeah.
Just notice that today, the rabbit hole. You know, maybe you're the guy who owns the business you work at, maybe his name is Mr. Sprocket.
Spacely. Mr. Spacely.
We're giving away beer for Friggin' A Friday. What's a problem nobody prepared you for? A case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. We'll take a break. We'll be back.
Let's rock. More of the Big Mad Morning Show is next.
Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show. Toll free 833-460-KMOD is the phone number. You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. Qualifying people for CML 2025. That's coming up very soon, and we're giving away beer for Friggin' A Friday. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? BMMS and what that is to 82945. On Friday, we do news quickies. These are just the headlines, the best headlines from the week.
It's time for News Quickies, world news, local news, and news that just makes you say, what the Now here's Corbin, Gimpy, and Lindsay with what's going on. News Quickies from the Big Man Morning Show at 97.5 KMOD.
Taco Bell employee jailed after spitting in nacho cheese for customer she had beef with.
I'm glad they weren't around when I was working fast food.
Right?
I think this happens a lot.
It probably does, more than what you think. And not because you had beef with them, like, you know, we know each other outside.
Which may be.
Which may very well may be. But, like, just if you're a dick of a customer, or maybe that employee's having a bad day, you never know, man.
You might, like, if I'm being a jerk to you, okay. But if you're having a bad day, oof.
Yeah, right.
I might not press charges if I was being a jerk or whatever. But if you're having a bad day, oof, I'm definitely pressing charges.
Well, yeah, it shouldn't happen anyway, but you know. Fast
Settle
food.
down over there.
Hey, that was the past. I am a changed man. Fast food. What, you don't believe me?
You're a man of opportunity.
Yeah. I'll remember that next time I'm making you a boiga or something.
Yeah, you don't. Duly noted.
Fast food restaurant in China getting attention for chicken strips that look like poop.
They don't look like chicken.
No, they do not.
Author of bill to ban furries in school cannot come up with examples of it happening.
Because it's not.
It's not.
Man breaks into ex-girlfriend's home through doggy door.
What was it, DJ Qualls?
Right, such a skinny, small person. Maybe he was a midget. Who knows? A humanoid robot appears to snap and attacked factory workers. It's a pretty wild video if you haven't seen it yet.
Maximum Overdrive. Watch it.
Terminator's real, man.
Special education teacher killed pedestrian in drunk driving hit and run on way to school.
Oh, God.
I don't know why we have to hear that it's a special education teacher.
It hits differently unless, you know, if it was a math teacher.
A teacher is a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are the ones that take care of the special kids, you know, so they should know better.
Anyone should know better. Naked woman found wandering hotel halls twice in 2 hours.
This doesn't feel that wild to me.
Yeah.
I feel like that is an appropriate place for that to happen.
Like in the hotel to be wandering around naked?
I mean, if it's a Motel 6 or it is a Comfort Inn, yes.
Right.
La Quinta, okay.
Well, I don't
It's a
knock La
Ritz?
Quinta.
I don't know. I will say this. I've stayed in a lot of hotels, and the wildest thing I've ever seen at a hotel happened in a 5-star hotel, in a Ritz hotel.
Think it's just because they're like, I can do whatever I want.
Possibly, right? Not worried about the consequence. We were coming back from going to eat, turned a corner, and there was a dog deucing right there in the hallway.
Oh, man.
And
Welcome back.
And like looking around, no person.
Right.
And it was a long hallway. And you're like, what's happening? And all of a sudden you hear, come on, Spot, or whatever the dog's name was. And the dog took off and went into the thing.
Ain't nobody come to clean up the turds.
I knocked on the door and I went, your dog essed on the floor. They never came out.
Yeah. See, that's reason number 936 why you shouldn't let your dogs in the hotels. I don't understand why hotels let you bring pets in.
I think it's okay to do that. I think that you should be allowed to take your pet with you if you choose to do that, and the hotel does allow it. Because, I don't know, I just think that's fine. Home Depot,
Okay.
Sam's Club, Walmart.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
It's a place of business, and there's other people around, and other people that got to worry about stepping around your dog's crap. You know what I mean? It's just...
I feel like a hotel, you there might be a few moments where we're sharing space, but ultimately you're in your private space.
Right, but
Yeah.
dogs don't.
And I'm in the buying lumber, and your dog is triggered by the smell of pine. I don't need it. You know what I mean?
I
It's
get
just,
you. I get
it's
you.
not necessary.
Yeah, but see, my thought is like dogs, they don't know any better. They really don't,
Fair.
right? So I don't want to go to a hotel, especially a 5-star, in the event that I ever go to a 5-star hotel. Like, I don't want the hallways to smell like dog piss
Yeah.
or dog crap. You know what I mean? I'm
You're
like,
no longer a 5-star hotel.
right, I'm paying big money to stay in this nice hotel, and the hallways or the rooms, because people go and they leave their animals in the rooms while they go tour around town. And then again, the dogs don't know any better, so they're pissing in the corners or crapping on the sheets or whatever. Sheets or whatever. Yeah, just come on.
Regardless of 5-star or not, people do worse things in hotels. There's a reason I don't drink the in-room coffee machine. And I take my own sanitized wipes when I get there, and I pull the top cover down. Like, hotels are disgusting already.
Yeah. And bed bugs. Is that on me? I think it's Lindsay.
Yes. No,
Okay.
I had.
Okay. A proposal to give the moon its own time zone.
Glad we're focused on the real problems in society.
Right? Where you at? I'm 6:30 moon time.
Jail locks down after convicted killer goes missing for 12 hours. Cops realize they forgot him at the courthouse.
Idiots. New Jersey spa owner busted with $600,000 stuffed inside giant teddy bear during prostitution raid.
You gotta hide the cash somewhere.
What was the name of the plate? Like the business, the industry?
A spa.
Right. Sure. Next to the dry cleaner? Got it. One side's donuts, one side's dry cleaner, and then the pedicure place is right next to that. Got it. Check.
Fiend relieved himself in church holy water font. That's just nasty.
I know you're gonna hate me for this, but put it on the list. You don't know the holy water is clean.
True statement. True statement, because what? They dip their fingers in there, da-da-da-da, sprinkle it on your head. You don't know if Pastor done washed his hands after taking a deuce or not.
I don't know when they ever clean it out. I don't know if you should.
Right. I'm sure a holy water font can get moldy.
I would think any water, any
Sure.
container with open air, and everybody's dipping in to go Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Funeral director trashed over 6,500 bodies of pets, used fake ashes to defraud customers out of $650,000.
Wow.
Damn. Some people's kids, man.
Right.
Here's a hot take. Does it matter?
No, it really
a
doesn't. You don't know. But if you are, is this for a pet funeral home or a person funeral home? Because I understood it as a person funeral home. And if you're expecting to get Aunt June and you're getting, Spot instead,
I don't know. I didn't read the story.
or in this case, you need enough animals to make up a full Aunt June. You're getting like maybe a small farm. You don't know about it.
How do you decipher it isn't your ashes?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Do you go, this has a collar in it?
Right.
Is that a paw?
Pawpaw didn't have a canine. Not like that.
Pope Leo trading card has already outsold one of the most popular basketball players of all time.
Yeah, Catholics are a big deal.
Yeah.
Kind of a big population.
I didn't know that they had trading cards, but what else? Be like, hey, I'll trade you Pope John Paul for Pope Benedict.
I think this one's a little bit different because his connection to Chicago and the Sox and the Bears. Like, he's a big sports fan.
That's fair.
There's a great video circulating of them talking to his brothers. And so they're interviewing the brother after he gets named the Pope. This is so awesome. And he goes, oh, he's calling right now. And he, FaceTimes, and he opens it up and he's like, hey, talking to the Pope. And he goes, why aren't you answering your phone? And he goes, I need to let you know the TV crew's here. And you hear it's such a great sibling moment, even with the Pope. Like, we've never seen anything like that.
No.
So awesome.
A man charged after breaking into church while completely naked. People been doing weird things in churches lately.
I feel like that's also an appropriate place.
If you're going to be naked in church. I think that's the last place you should be naked
I
at.
think he's okay with it. Like, he brought you in this way. He's
Right.
okay seeing you that way.
Right. You weren't born with clothes on. Yeah, I guess.
A man spent 940 days in jail waiting for a trial that never came.
Oh,
This is why bond is a bad idea.
School district warns kids of the dangers of senior assassin game.
Okay.
Okay, so it's got to be a game where you kill seniors? That makes no sense.
Not senior citizens. I think I know what it is because when I was doing my remote at Popeyes like a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago or something like that, there was a group of gals that come up and one of them had those water wings on, you know what I'm saying? You know, that you use for toddlers when they're swimming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other
Floaties.
one, yeah, floaties. And the other one had a water pistol. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Is she afraid she's going to drown in her soup? Why is this happening? And apparently it's like a high school senior sort of thing. And if you get caught, if you get shot, squirted, whatever, you got to take one of your wings off. Forget the whole Brady explained it to me. And I was like, okay, that's
I've seen this on TikTok.
that's silly. But
I've seen it happening on TikTok. Okay. Yeah. Emulating shooting something is a little too close to the sign. I get it. Okay.
especially in schools, right?
Yeah.
A man let snakes bite him 202 times to help develop antivenom.
No, this'll do it.
Right.
One more time.
No, I'm good. I'm good on all of that.
Is he getting paid for that?
Somebody said, is it snake? Yeah, snake antivenom is goat's blood.
No, it's made from the venom of the snake.
I'm just telling you what the internet said.
As far as I know, it's always made from the venom of the snake.
Yeah.
United flight attendants keep leaving passengers asleep on empty planes. Airline warns this is a safety risk and federal violation. You aren't supposed to sleep on planes. That is true.
Really? Not at all? You're supposed to stay wide awake.
Uh-huh.
If you're going to, I don't know, China, and it takes 24 hours to get there, you can't sleep at all.
Yeah. It isn't can't sleep. You're not supposed to. Mm-hmm. People do all the time.
Yeah.
Well, they should at least wake them up when the plane lands.
Hey, man, you want to break the rules, it's on you.
Right.
I can't believe they don't. How deep of a sleeper are you on
No
a plane?
kidding.
I get like in your bed into the day.
Yeah.
But you're on a plane just,
Yeah,
Maybe.
but there's some people that take drugs to knock them
Right,
out.
right.
Because they don't want to fly.
then
Uncomfortable
don't
with
fly.
it. Sure,
It's
but
kind
if,
of hard to drive to China. you know?
Well,
Right.
then don't go to China.
well, but I have business there.
Well, then don't have business there. You make choices. You are a part of the outcome.
See, that's all more reason to keep it American.
Yeah, but I mean, how hard is it to just, you have to check the plane anyway.
I'm not your wake-up call.
But they go through and they make sure everyone's luggage is off and out of the carry-on
I don't know if that's true.
compartments.
And then if they do, it's after the people are out.
I think that it's easily done to say, hey, wake up. We're here.
I know this is going to be a giant news flash to you and maybe some other people. Flight attendants aren't your servants.
No, but they do work for the airline and they're in charge of the planes. Like, come on. It feels like that's something that they would do.
Should be in their
is
job
wake you
requirements
up.
to wake people up.
Just like if a child falls asleep on a school bus.
This is your different apples and oranges.
I'm going to go out there on a limb and say flight attendants are kind of your servants. They're there to make sure you get your peanuts and your sodas or cocktails.
Peanuts.
They're also there to make sure you get a blanket or a pillow. You know, they're literally there to serve you.
And duct tape the unruly.
And duct
right?
tape
Yeah.
the unruly. Absolutely.
Airbnb owner surprises couple, leaves dog with spiritual needs and detailed care instructions on site.
Oh, God.
So rude.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to be entrepreneurs. We're going to open an Airbnb empire. And also a dog adoption group.
Study says psychopaths are more attractive. I mean, look at American Psycho, man. Christian Bale's pretty hot in that one.
Sure. Barr appears to call underage drinking bust, quote, our 9/11.
Oh, God.
We want to hear from you. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? A case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. BMMS and what that is to 82945.
More of the Big Man Morning Show is next.
free 833-460-KMOD. Texting is how you get in on beer. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? Case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. BMMS and whatever that is to 82945. And it's time for Friggin' A Friday. Find out who's going to win some of that 50th anniversary Miller Lite. Dan is on. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right, Corbin. How about yourself?
Good. Wow. Dan, what is an adult problem nobody prepared you for?
How little I would want to be around other humans, because humans suck.
Not all of us.
Nah, I think a lot of them do. Some are okay.
Yeah, well, I know I suck, and that's just factual. Sometimes I just don't want a human, but I do anyway. And people come up to you, and then they start telling you about their life, and it's like, did I ask you to tell me all of your problems when I've got my own? And I'm not trying to be an a-hole. It's just like, for real, man. And why everybody got a cop and attitude all the time?
What are we doing right now?
Well, I'm not meaning to. I'm just saying it.
Yeah, no. Listen, I hear you. Here's a philosophical question. Do you think they're the problem or you're the problem?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, you might be onto something. Yeah, I like to always go with this theory. Some of us are trying. Not all of us, but some of us are.
Facts.
Yeah, right.
No printer.
All right, Gimpy, go ahead and tell him exactly what he's going to get.
I bet when you were a kid, nobody prepared you for winning a case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite. Back to you, Corbin.
Hang on the line, buddy. Gimpy needs to make sure he's got your info and have a fantastic weekend.
You all too.
All right, buddy.
The Nuggets forced a Game 7 with a 119-107 win over the Oklahoma City Thunder in Denver. I know. Nikola Jokic led the charge with 29 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. Jamal Murray.
Oh, good for you.
I know. Battled through an illness to finish with 25 points, while Christian Brown chipped in 23 points and 11 boards. The Nuggets will now play in a Game 7 for the second straight series after taking down the LA Clippers in the first round. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander paced the Thunder with 32 points in the losing effort. The best-of-7 series is tied now at 3-3, and the two teams will square off in a win-or-go-home Game 7 on Sunday at 2:30 in Oklahoma City. I feel like this was planned a little bit because, maybe OKC was like, we want to win, but we want to do it at home.
I always think it's planned to go 7 because of television money.
That's true, too.
Yeah, but games aren't going 7, so there's kind of...
Right.
Well, I think one person played like they're going to be the MVP, and another one's trying to be the MVP.
Uh-oh.
Well, you mean between Shai and Jokic?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
One played like an MVP.
Shai.
The other one was trying to play like an MVP. I'm not knocking SGA. He got in foul trouble early in the game. He had to pull back on his defense. So I get it. They've been having trouble with some of their shooting the last couple games. I think, remember what we talked about earlier where the people were saying the Thunder hadn't been tested? Mm-hmm. And now we're only into the second part of the playoff, for them, the second part of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they're already getting tested?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or are they underestimating Denver and how good Denver is?
Right.
That might be it, too. I love those Nuggets 5280 jerseys. I think that looks so cool. I thought the floor looked cool. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was a refreshing look from the typical look. 5,200, isn't that the altitude?
Sure.
Of Denver?
I think so. the Mile High City. The winner advances to face the Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals, and the playoff action continues tonight at 7 with the New York Knicks playing host to the defending champion Boston Celtics in Game 6 at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks lead the best-of-7 series at 3-2. And that's your Balls to the Wall Sports. I'm Lindsay at 97.5 KMOD.
Balls to the Wall Sports is powered by the award-winning service of Ground. The chance coming up in about an hour. Be listening for that cue. When you hear it, be the correct caller. Toll free at 833-460-5663. And you'll be in the running for CMall 2025. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Corbin. I want to have lunch with you in your office. All you have to do to sign up is go to the website that rocks, KMOD.com. And at the end of the month, I will bring lunch to you and 9 of your coworkers from our friends at Taziki's. And I'm hitting the road in our new Chevy Blazer EV. So while I'm having lunch with you, you can check out the vehicle, maybe take a test drive for yourself. Sign up today at KMOD.com.
Good morning, Gippy.
Well, good morning, Corbin. Here in about an hour, you're going to get your first keyword to rock the bank. It's your chance to score $1,000 cash. All you got to do is listen for that keyword, plug it into the website that rocks, KMOD.com, and you're going to score yourself $1,000. And then you got 12 other chances throughout the day as well if you don't make it this one.
All right, we're giving away beer for Friggin' A Friday. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? A case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. Answer the question via text BMMS, whatever that is, to 82945. Lindsay, what's an adult problem nobody prepared you for?
When you have a good chunk of money finally saved up, only to have a large appliance in your home go out, like your air conditioning or a pool pump or your water heater.
So you're saying like you were never
example.
told how to save money?
Yes, for something like that. Like you think, oh, you're good. And then, boom, that happens and you have to pay for it. And that's a bummer. Or maybe your child gets hurt and has to go to a hospital out of state, out of network.
Like an emergency fund.
Yes. Marcus was 11 and sliced open his foot when he was in the Upper Peninsula and had to go to the emergency room and get stitches. And that hospital bill cost more because we were out of network than what it did to have twins in the hospital. Yes.
It cost 6 figures?
No. But I mean, with my insurance, I had insurance, so, but it was about almost $13,000
Ding.
You're out of pocket?
for him to have, because he had to go into an out of network emergency room
But
for
what?
stitches.
Stitches were how much?
Almost 13 grand was the bill.
Stitches were 13 grand?
That sucks.
Yep. That bill was like, I think 12,007 something.
Did you ever pay it?
Oh, yeah. Over time. Yeah. Sucked.
Well, there's this theory that I am not a financial advice giver. I'm not your financial advice giver. This is proceed with caution. But they say that let it go to collections, and then once they try to collect the money from you, tell them to provide the bills, which they can't because of HIPAA laws. They can't then bother you about the bill anymore. I don't know if that's true. I'm not somebody who tests stuff like that.
All right.
Was it that big of a gash you couldn't just like super glue it back together?
Right. It was that big.
works.
It was that big of a gash because Kevin exactly would have done that.
All
That's
right.
exactly. He's like, he even looked at his buddy who he was with, and he said, "Yeah, we can't. Can we handle this?" They were like, "No, we can't. He's got to go."
How many stitches?
11.
Can you buy like a medical grade stapler? You know what I'm talking about? They use,
I'm sure you can.
you know, because that'd be awesome to have on hand for instances like that.
Well,
just
and-
give me your foot, ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
How old was he?
He was 11, and not only that, he didn't have like a tetanus shot, and what he had gotten sliced on was he had walked outside and there was a rusty door that he had walked under it, sliced his foot open. So
That makes my taint tingle just thinking
right,
about it. Oof.
yeah,
Your foot getting, like, come on, that sucks.
yeah,
You don't want super glue there.
no,
The breeding ground for germs and stuff. You want it cleaned out.
yeah.
That makes sense.
No better than duct tape, I guess, but sure.
It left a really cool looking scar though on the top of his foot. It almost looks like horns down.
Oh,
on
it wasn't the
his-
bottom of his foot? It was
No,
the top?
it's the top.
How did he cut the top of his foot?
The screen door it slammed.
Closed on his foot. Got it.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to, he's just barefooted?
He was barefoot.
See,
yeah.
this is why you always wear shoes everywhere you go, or
Exactly.
Crocs. See, if he was wearing his Crocs, no problems. All that door would have been done for.
And you won't see him without his Crocs on.
That makes sense.
It was a huge lesson learned.
But you want your feet connected to the earth, man. Not enough kids walk around barefoot anymore.
We need to be grounded. Thanks, hippie corps.
Dude, a lot of people think you got to be barefoot to like as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same principle as like getting, kids need to be around dirt more.
Mm-hmm.
Build immunity.
Sure.
Eat all the dirt you want, but leave your shoes on.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
We are giving away beer for Friggin' A Friday. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? BMMS and what that is to 82945. Gimpy?
The fact that the weekends are not long enough. As a kid, you go to school, that's about it. You go to school Monday through Friday, you get off, you get out of school, you play around or whatever. The weekends come, and it seems sometimes maybe as a kid, as I was a kid or whatever, it was a good amount of time. But as an adult, these goddamn weekends fly by, right? We get out of work on a Friday, and the next thing you know, it's Sunday night, and we got to go to bed, and we got to get up and go to work in the goddamn morning. I am a big proponent of a 4-day work week. I'm all for it, I think 3 days, weekends, would be a lot better than just the quick 2 days that just fly by. Like we've got one coming up for Memorial Day weekend, right? Holiday. That's a good amount of time. The 3 days off, you got plenty of time to relax, do what you need to do, have some fun. But for whatever reason, it just seems like Saturday and Sunday. Like, okay, we work all day on Friday. Ultimately, you only get one friggin' day to enjoy. You've got Saturday. And not everybody gets to enjoy a Saturday. Sometimes you've got stuff to do, whether, you're mowing lawn, running errands, getting groceries, taking kids to, soccer games or whatever the hell it is. But you really only have one day to enjoy. So if you think about it, yeah, you've got Saturday and Sunday. But Sunday, well, you got to get ready for work the next day. You can't really have fun on a Sunday. You can, but you feel it the next day.
Right, like Sunday Fun Day's a hoax.
Exactly. Sunday Fun Day. Whoever made that crap up, There ain't nothing fun about a Sunday.
I think the people who were like, I'm not going to let Sunday be dark and be this day I can't enjoy it. Those are the people that made Sunday Fun Day.
Sure, I guess. The ones that don't worry about, hey, I got to get up the next day early or whatever. And I'm not saying that all Sundays are horrible. Yeah, sure, you get up, you make some coffee. You might even do some grilling or something. But at least in my circle anyway, come about 5 o'clock. 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, it's winding down. It's like I can't do anything anymore because I've got to get in that mind frame for work the next day, So it's just like, nobody told me that the weekends were going to fly by like this.
Two observations. One, why do people have that mentality on a Sunday night when they'll go out during the week and stay up late? I don't know.
That's been weird to me as well.
So, because if you're going to go out during the week, what's it matter if you stay up or do whatever on Sunday? And I'm curious to what your idea of enjoying it would be. Like when you say you can't enjoy Sunday, because I feel like going all day and hanging out and partying or riding or doing whatever till 5 feels like a pretty fulfilling day.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. But again, you can't, like on a Saturday, people on a Friday and a Saturday, it's known for people to go out and probably stay up later than they would on a Friday or Saturday because they don't have that obligation of having to get up and go to work the next day, right? So you may stay out and hang out with your friends or go to the bar or go to late night movies or whatever and not go to bed until, 11, 12, 1 in the morning, something to that effect on a Friday or a Saturday. Because why? Because you don't have to worry about getting up the next day. You can sleep in a little bit, But on Sunday, you're like, sure, I could stay out until 11 o'clock at night and hanging out with my friends and having a great time, but I want to be feeling it the next day, So I think it's with the Friday and Saturdays, you don't have that obligation of having to get up the next day. You have more freedom. You can sleep in a little bit longer without the repercussions. If you sleep in on a Monday, well, you're going to be late for work and your boss is going to be pissed. And that's what I feel.
I also feel like it's not just work, though. I think people also worry about the fact that, I got to go back to adulting all week.
Yeah, that's another good point there. You get those 2 days, the Friday and Saturday, to just kind of willy-nilly and do whatever you want. It's like, finally, I'm broken from these chains for a day and a half. And then, yes, I put the cuffs back on. Okay.
What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? A case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. Get yours to us, Bmms, and whatever that is, to 82945. The adult problem nobody prepared me for was deciding which HSA, PPO, OPO, LPO, in-network, out-of-network, dental, vision, should I, deductible, how much do I put in, healthcare deciding decisions.
That's the truth.
That was the adult problem nobody prepared me for. I could come up with a gazillion of these, but nobody prepared me for how do you know which one. By the way, you get to make the decision once, and if you lose your job, joke's on you.
Yeah.
We go on Cobra. Whatever.
And usually what happens is about midway through the year, you go, man, I should have picked the BBBO instead of the AZZO. Mm-hmm. And then come August or October, you forget that. And you don't get to change it.
Amen.
That is the thing that nobody prepared me for, was to understanding how medical expenses work. And maybe they were different growing up, and that isn't a knock on my parents. Like, I'm confident they did the best they could.
Right.
But I remember the first time getting a full-time job, psyched. Here's your salary of $21,000 in Kansas City at a major radio station. And I was like, yes, I have so much money. And them going, all right, now let's go over your insurance. Which plan do you want? And I was like, I don't know what you're saying right now.
Right.
The one that I can go to the doctor for free. There isn't one that exists like that here. And I was like, what do most people get? And they said this one. I went, okay. Didn't know there were different levels. Didn't know there was different ways to do it. Didn't know I could get an HSA and the company would give me $400 at that time. Give me. I didn't know that. And why would they tell me that? They then don't have to give me $400.
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, insurance is the worst, man. The absolute worst. You pay for it. You may not even use it, but you're still paying for it. And do you get anything back at the end of the year after dumping all that money into it and not using it? Hell no.
I hear you. Valid point. Lindsay's point, valid, but it's also pretty nice when you get a surgery in February and now every bill I have going forward, $7.
Right.
Right.
It is kind of awesome.
Yeah, after you meet that deductible, yeah.
I can understand as someone who doesn't like going to the doctor, thinks it's a waste of money. As someone who goes to the doctor, it feels like a giant benefit. It could be better, 100%, as Lindsay pointed out. Yes, it is a pain in the ass. But also, it's pretty nice when I get that $2 x-ray bill.
Yeah.
Because I've already met my deductible in February.
I thought about that, but like when I broke my leg slipping on the smallest patch of ice in the parking lot, because that happened in January. Met my deductible in January, and I was like, well, hell, I should just go ahead and get everything done now since it's already met, but I didn't or whatever. But it makes sense. Sure, have a major surgery at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Just to make your deductible. Excuse me, Doc, can you pencil me in, take my appendix out? I know I don't need it removed, but
I'm
let's
not
meet that deductible.
I'm not a believer in planning those, but I am a believer when that life moment happens. You got to manage. This is a game of chess. Life is a game of chess.
Right.
And I think that when you have those moments happen, then you go, what else do I need done?
Right.
Now I can be like, okay, this is the time to do that. That's just my opinion on it. BMMS and what is an adult problem nobody prepared you for? We're giving away beer for people that text in, and we pick your text, get you on the air. You'll get a case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite. We'll take a break, and we'll be back.
Tulsa's Morning Show is coming right back.
Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show. Toll free 833-460-KMOD. Can also text BMMS. And then what you want to say to 82945. Let's play a game. We got tickets to give away to see Mudvayne and Static X at the Tulsa Theater. Get your tickets at tulsatheater.com. That show is October 9th. We're going to play the numbers game. You call up at 833-460-KMOD. Pick what category you want, numbers, percentages, or averages. And then Lindsay's going to try and stop you from getting the tickets. Listeners have won 3 times this year. Lindsay has blocked you 11 times this year. Get your tickets to see Mudvayne and Static X at tulsatheater.com. So, 833-460-KMOD. Good morning. You're on the air. What is your name?
Mike D.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Man, I think I'm pretty good this morning.
Good. Well, let's see if we can't get you some Mudvayne Static X tickets. Which category do you want? Numbers, percentages, or averages?
Let's go with percentages.
Percentages it is. It's 5 questions from Gibby. Just answer them the best that you can. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
All right, Mike D. What percentage of the United States population has a jar of mayonnaise in the fridge?
Ooh, jar of mayonnaise in the fridge. That's high. Like 89, 91.
91%, he says. All right, Mike. When deciding which restaurant to visit, what percentage of consumers first look at what sauces are available there?
What sauces are available? That would be 24%.
24%, he says. All right, Mike D. What percentage of Americans say they enjoy hot sauce?
Ooh, that's got to be a 85. 80. 85.
80 or 85, Mike? I need a good number.
85.
85%. All right, Mike. Dill pickle slices used on hamburgers make up the majority of pickle sales by what percent? Let me say that again. Dill pickle slices used on hamburgers make up the majority of pickle sales by what percent?
Hamburger's pretty popular. 72.
72%. Last one here, Mike. What percent of all households eat pickles?
72. I'm going to go with that one again.
All right.
I got to tell you, I don't know if we've had someone with the exception of one of them, such well thought out answers.
Yeah, right? Usually
Yeah.
they just rattle them off.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if Lindsay can block you from getting Mudvayne and Static X tickets. That show is October 9th at the Tulsa Theater. Get your tickets, tulsatheater.com.
Dope, day before my birthday, so come on us.
All right, let's go. Lindsay's ready. Question 1.
Lindsay, what percentage of the United States population has a jar of mayonnaise in the fridge?
Ooh, a jar of mayonnaise. I'm going to go with 70%.
70%. All right, Lindsay. When deciding which restaurant to visit, what percentage of consumers first look at what sauces are available there?
13%.
13%. All right, Lindsay. What percentage of Americans say they enjoy hot sauce?
I'm going to go with 32%.
All righty then. Lindsay, dill pickle slices used on hamburgers make up the majority of pickle sales by what percent?
43%.
43%, she says. Last one here, Lindsay. What percent of all households eat pickles? What percent of all households eat pickles?
40%.
40%, she says.
How do you think she did there, Mike?
There's a couple that I think are going to be right on the line.
All right, let's find out how Mike did tickets to Mudvayne the day before his birthday. Mudvayne Static X, October 9th. Question 1.
Question number 1. What percentage of the United States population has a jar of mayonnaise in the fridge? Well, Mike D said 91%, and then Lindsay said 70%. And the answer is 75%.
Lindsay got that one closest with that one, so she's on the board. She needs 2 more to block from blocking you to get these tickets to see Mudvayne and Static X. Question 2.
Number 2, when deciding which restaurant to visit, what percentage of consumers first look at what sauces are available there? Well, Mike said 24%, and Lindsay said a mere 13%, and the answer is 34%.
Looks like Mike got that one, so it's tied 1-1. I've never done this.
Me
Nor
either.
have I.
Which would explain the 24%. I've never, I just kind of assume you're going to have ketchup and mustard, and
Right.
yeah.
Do they call ahead, be like, excuse me, do you have honey mustard? What kind of ranch do you have?
Even hot wings, I wouldn't do that.
Now I've gone to a restaurant and I've sat there and asked about tartar sauces.
Yeah, but that's when you're
But
there. We're
that's-
talking about
yeah,
before.
Exactly. Never call ahead.
All right, so it's tied, right?
Yeah.
1-1. Let's go to question 3.
Question number 3, what percentage of Americans say they enjoy hot sauce? Mike said 85%, Lindsay said 32%, and the answer is 93%.
Wow, Mike got that one right. So, Mike, you need 1 more to get those tickets. I'm shocked at this number. I know a lot of people that don't like hot
Yeah.
sauce.
Okay. I enjoy hot
Me
sauce.
too.
Do you
In
enjoy
my
it?
circle, it's just the opposite.
Meaning,
I know a lot of people that are hot sauce junkies that we even make our own. I mean, one of my bass players makes his own hot sauce. He grows his peppers.
yeah, he does. What is it called?
One of them's called Tomcat, and I used to make Driver Mad and Driver Wild. One was hot and
Yeah,
one would
you
melt your
did.
teeth.
Because you are a brand genius. I love that. All right, so Mike has 2, Lindsay has 1. Question 4.
Question 4, dill pickle slices used on hamburgers make up the majority of pickle sales by what percent? Mike D said they make it up by 72%, and Lindsay said 43%, and the answer is 25%.
Ooh, Lindsay got that one. It's now tied 2-2. Comes down to the last question for tickets to see Mudvayne and Static X at the Tulsa Theater on October 9th. Get your tickets at tulsatheater.com.
When the question was asked, what percent of all households eat pickles? Mike said 72% of those households eat pickles. Lindsay said 40% of households eat pickles. The answer is an astonishing 67%.
Mike, congratulations. You're getting those tickets to see Mudvayne and Static X tickets on Thursday, October 9th at the Tulsa Theater, man. Congratulations. What a great birthday present we gave you.
Man, you guys rock. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. I should say that. Thank you, Lindsay.
Hang on the line, buddy. All right, we want to know from you, what's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? A case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours, and we're going to give some away coming up.
Tulsa's Morning Show is coming right back. The Big Mad Morning Show.
Show toll free 833-460-KMOD. Giving away beer for Friggin' A Friday. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? Case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. Send us a text so you can get in on that. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? Let's go to the phones, and Brandon's been waiting. Hey, Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. What's going on?
What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for?
Losing my parents. I'm 48. Lost my dad about 23, 24 years ago. Lost my mom about 4 years ago. And, growing up, those are your confidants. Those are the people you can go to when you make mistakes, you need guidance, you need this, you need that. And, yeah, nobody prepares you for that.
I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. Two questions. One, was it easier when your mom died, or was it harder because before when your dad died, you were like, oh, I still have my mom, and when your mom died, you didn't have that?
Well, I'm going to get a little personal here. My dad wasn't the greatest, my mom and dad had a really bad relationship. When my dad died, it was kind of bittersweet, but it did prepare me for my mom, who continued living another 16 years later. We made sure she passed away peacefully, and she was happy. But when one passes, it definitely prepares you for the other one. But when they're both gone, you have nobody to go to. That's tough.
Are you an only child?
No, sir. Oldest is 7.
Okay,
Wow.
7.
I got 6 brothers and sisters. Yes, sir.
Wow, congratulations on that. I'm sure at times it doesn't feel like congratulations, but yeah, that's amazing.
It does, but what it also prepared me for too was to be a great grandparent now too. So I've got 3 grandkids, and I'm out doing things and experiencing things that my parents unfortunately could not. So yeah, bittersweet.
Hold on, how old are you?
I'm 48.
And a great
5
grandparent.
children. No, not great grandparent, just a grandparent.
Oh,
He's just a grandparent. Great as in descriptive, like a good grandparent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I am a great grandparent. There you go.
Well, you said great grandparent. I was like, your kids have had kids?
No, God, no.
Okay.
No.
That feels a little less stressful for me. All right, Gimpy, go ahead and tell him exactly what he's going to get.
When Corbin was younger, they never told him that the attic floor may be able to hold you as a kid, but when you're an old tub of goo, you're going to fall through. Here's a case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite. Back to you guys.
Average. Hey, hang on the line so Gimpy can get your info, okay?
Copy that.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you. Let's see what Gimpy has in his 4x4.
Well, Corbin, it says here that Florida becomes the second state to ban fluoride. Governor DeSantis signed the legislation known as the Florida Farm Bill yesterday. Now, it doesn't mention the word fluoride, but bans it by not allowing the use of certain additives in a water system. The ban goes into effect July 1st. Utah became the first state to ban the chemical compound from the public water in March.
This is wild to me. I feel like this might be a little bit of in cahoots with the dental industry.
Yeah, that's why they put fluoride in your water. It makes your teeth strong. Sure it does. Or dumbs you down.
Well, you're about to find out in Florida.
Yeah, all right. Bunch of toothless Floridians out there. It wouldn't be a far stretch from what's already happening in Florida.
Wouldn't it be amazing if, like, they take it out and then, like, nothing weird ever happens there again?
Yeah, right? Florida, a normal state?
I will gladly go. I was wrong.
I guess we'll have to find out after July 1st and see what happens. What else we got here? HHS to stop recommending COVID shots for children and pregnant women. The Trump administration is reportedly planning to stop recommending routine COVID shots for children and pregnant women. A report in the Wall Street Journal says that the Department of Health and Human Services is expected to remove the CDC recommendations when it launches new guidelines for approving vaccines. The CDC currently recommends that everyone 6 months and older receive the vid vaccine, including pregnant women. The Supreme Court hearing arguments on nationwide injunctions. The Supreme Court seems poised to hand President Trump a partial victory. The justices heard arguments in Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship. Court insiders say while most of the justices seemed opposed to end it, the conservative majority seemed inclined to hand the White House what it really wanted, a legal remedy to rein in judges who have halted Trump's policies regarding immigration, DEI initiatives, and cutting federal spending. Conservative Justice Samuel Alito said the problem is that there are 680 district court judges who have the, quote, disease of thinking that I'm right and I can do whatever I want. Yeah. And then lastly here, Emirates Global Aluminum is investing $4 billion in new Oklahoma aluminum production plant. The Emirates Global Aluminum, or EGA, announced that they're planning to invest $4 billion to create a new primary aluminum production plant at the Tulsa port of Inola. Now, Governor Stitt and the Oklahoma Department of Commerce announced the investment yesterday, explaining the project is expected to create 1,000 direct jobs, 1,800 indirect jobs, and enhance Oklahoma's ability to create additional manufacturing jobs. EGA is the world's largest producer of premium aluminum, and the Oklahoma facility is set to be the first new primary aluminum production plant built in the U.S. in 45 years.
The 49ers are planning to sell away a portion of the team. Sportico is reporting that San Francisco owner Jed York is working to complete the sale of more than 6% of the franchise to 3 Bay Area families. The sales are reportedly set to be done at a franchise valuation of more than $8.5 billion. If the deal is completed, that would make the valuation the largest for a sports franchise in a transaction. The Kosla, Dieter, and Griffith families are said to be the prospective buyers. The NFL is expected to formally approve the transactions at the spring owners meeting in Minneapolis next week.
This is an example of a story that sounds like a big deal, especially if you're a 49ers fan. You feel like, wait, what? Their sale? What's happening? Mm-hmm. When most NFL teams are not like the Cowboys.
Right.
Most NFL teams have partial owners. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the NFL rules allow for teams to have up to, want to guess how many owners they can have?
Unlimited?
25.
Okay, I was going to say 10, but yeah, 25.
25 different owners for one team in a partial or minority capacity, and obviously one is the operating or majority owner. Mm-hmm. So the Cowboys are not the norm. The Packers, of course, not the norm.
Right.
This is a not news story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the Packers, though, aren't they owned by just the fans?
Yeah, they're you buy a percentage of them. Fans do. Yeah. Anomaly. The NFL would never let that happen again.
Right.
That was one of those. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
So the fans, if you buy into it, you get paid, right? Obviously a percentage.
I'm not clear on whether they get money back or the money goes back into the
the organization.
Yeah. To keep prices kind of low or whatever.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, the Packers is an anomaly in everything about them. Mm-hmm. Their ballpark's in the middle of a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Or the stadium, I should say, is in the middle of a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like there's houses next to this. It's crazy.
Where do you live? I live next to Lambeau.
Lambeau, yeah. One member of the Patriots front seven is looking forward to being healthy this season. Defensive tackle Christian Barmore said Thursday that he has been cleared for football activity after dealing with blood clots last year. Uh-oh. The 25-year-old confirmed that he will be a fully participant when voluntary organized activities begin next week and expects to be ready for week 1 against the Las Vegas Raiders. And that's your Balls to the Wall Sports. I'm Lindsay on 97.5 KMOD.
Balls to the Wall Sports is powered by the award-winning service of Groundworks Tulsa. More of the Big Mad Morning Show is next.
The Big Mad Morning Show returns
morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show. Toll free 833-460-KMOD. 833-460-KMOD is the phone number. You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Corbin. Rock the bank. You did it at 8. Do it again at 9 o'clock this morning, and then you'll have 12 more chances to win throughout the day. Up until 8 o'clock tonight, listen for that nationwide keyword and enter it online at KMOD.com for your shot at $1,000. Maybe pay off some bills or buy a new water heater if you need it if yours goes out. Do whatever you want. It's your money if you win it.
Brought up a water heater twice.
I know.
In 50 minutes. Did yours
mine
go out?
is good, thank God.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Good morning,
Right,
Gimpy.
knock on wood.
Good morning, Corbin. Hey, single-day passes for Rocklahoma are officially on sale. So if you want to go on a Friday and see Manson and Alice Cooper, you could do that. If you want to go and see Just 311, you can do that as well. You can get your full lineup and your link for tickets for the loudest weekend of the year, Rocklahoma 2025 Labor Day weekend, Prior USA. Get it at the website, therocks.kmod.com.
All right, let's do Taser Time trivia. This is where we get shocked if we get an answer wrong to one of 3 questions or all 3 questions. You get shocked 3 times. These are questions provided by the 3 of us. You might get your question. That doesn't guarantee you won't get shocked, though.
Nope.
Last person to go last previously was Gimpy. And so he's going to draw first to see who will be going first in Taser Time trivia.
Quarter bean.
So
is
who
the
wants
one
to
go first? I'll let Lindsay shock you this. She can give you the shocker.
Okay. And the way this works is the shocker's getting attached.
I don't think I've ever realized your legs are so goddamn hairy.
He doesn't
Are
shave.
yours not hairy? Yeah, I don't shave my legs.
Well, I don't shave my legs either, but mine aren't like a wild bush like that. But
They're not a wild
I
bush.
guess I never really seen.
I
you
guess
in
because I'm a
shorts
man.
either. Ooh, hey, is that a shot at my manhood?
I don't know. I don't. You've got more hair on your chin than I have on my legs, so I don't know what you're got it.
That's where it goes, right?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Because I'm a real man. Real man grow
Real
hair on
man.
their face.
There's a couple guys that I roll with, and they shave, and I'm like, ew.
Is it weird?
Yes.
To be up against a
Yes.
baby smooth leg?
Yes.
It's even weirder probably when it's starting to grow back. and
That's
you
what
feel
I'm
their
talking
stubble.
about.
Right, it's all prickly.
Most guys don't shave. When that do shave, do not shave every day. Not just their legs, their arms.
Right. Really? Was it,
Yes.
They try to go faster? Are they professional swimmers or?
No,
Is
they're
it-
trying to look more muscular.
Yeah, no,
Whatever.
it doesn't.
Anyhow, moving on, shall we? Corbin, you ready?
Yes.
All right, first question here. What does the acronym URL stand for? What does the acronym URL stand for?
We're talking about the World Wide Web, and URL stands for Universal Lookup, Universal Real Lookup, Universal Relay, Universal Roll Lookup.
What
Universal something lookup. I'm going to go Universal Romo numeral. Universal. I'm going to go relay. Universal relay lookup. Final answer.
What does the acronym URL stand for? You said Universal
Relay.
Lookup. The answer is Uniform Resource Locator.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That tracks for sure.
Where the hell is he going with this?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2.
I tried.
Get a good one down here at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, because that one that we had.
Right.
I'm sweating now.
All right. Corbin, who is known as the greatest of all, the greatest of all time in boxing? Who is known as the greatest of all time in boxing?
Muhammad Ali. Final answer.
All right. Who's known as the greatest of all time in boxing? You said Muhammad Ali. The answer is Cassius Clay. No, it is Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, I was like,
Which is also Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali.
yeah, I was like, yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, good job, man. Can we
Yeah.
get him on the third one?
One for one.
You and your hairy legs. Let's see what we got here. All right.
Trick joke is on you. I'm actually not getting shocked because there's so much sheep wool on my legs.
All right.
It's like wearing a cable knit.
Oh, this one's right up your alley, Corbin. Which Disney princess? Which
Come on,
Disney
hairy legs.
princess has a tiger? Which Disney princess has a tiger?
Now, we know that Elsa doesn't have a tiger.
Frigid bitch.
We know that the Little Mermaid doesn't have a tiger. They're not real good swimmers.
No.
And I was going to name all these other princesses, but to be honest, I don't know if they're all princesses. Like Snow White ain't a princess.
Yeah, she isn't, is she?
No, because she has to wait for a prince to kiss her.
That's true.
But he does at the end. He gives her a little smooch. Wakes her
Yes,
up.
but she's not a princess.
Oh, at the time. Would Cinderella be a princess?
No.
Because the same thing. She's
She
waiting for Prince
becomes
Charming.
a princess, I guess, but...
So these are bitches that are already
I-
princesses.
Again, this is why I'm going to stop doing it, because I don't know.
Fair enough. Which princess, Disney princess, has a tiger?
One of my favorite Disney movies, always, you were born a street rat, you'll die a street rat. That's Princess Jasmine. Final answer.
Well, which Disney princess has a tiger? You said Princess Jasmine, and the answer is Jasmine. That's what's on the paper. So I'll let you have
Nicely
it.
done.
Thanks. Thanks. All
The least
right.
we could do.
So the next person that's going to go, there's really only one of two choices left, and it's going to be Gimpy.
All right, I'm not last this time. Woo!
So why don't you hand that to me? There you go. And while he's getting set up there, we want to know what's an adult problem nobody prepared you for.
Get the collar.
Oh, yeah, that'd be on me.
I mean, if
Sorry.
you want to leave it there and shock all day long,
Why is
I'll
it not
let you
working?
do it.
What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? A case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. BMMS and what that is to 82945. Don't sell yourself short. You're trying with your hairy legs.
I'm giving
Yeah.
it my best.
Ooh.
They're not near as hairy as yours, but, you know. Oh, yeah.
All right, question one.
All right, question 1. What Disney classic does the character Claude Frollo take center stage?
Claude Frollo? Who the hell is Claude Frollo? What Disney classic? So you're looking for the name of a movie. Claude Frollo? I've never heard that name, Claude Frollo, before.
How long does a movie have to be out for it to be considered classic?
That's a good question.
Because Toy Story is over 20 years old.
Right.
Wow.
And if you're going by automobile status, it would be a classic, right?
Or music.
Right. Exactly. You know, Godsmack, Five Finger Death Punch, considered classic rock now. Bunch of old
Crazy.
timers. Claude Frollo.
What Disney classic does the character Claude Frollo take center stage?
For the record, Toy Story's 30 years old.
Damn. Claude Frollo. Claude. What was that stupid snowman's name in Frozen? Was it Claude Frollo? I don't know. I've never seen Frozen before. I don't know, and I'm prepared to get zapped on this, and I'm just going to go with Frozen because that was the first one that popped into my mind. There was another one where it's like taking place in Louisiana or whatever, but I can't remember the name of that movie. So I'm going to go with, oh, God, this is going to hurt if I jump around too much. My balls are pretty good considering from last year or
Okay,
last week
got
or
it.
whatever. They're still a little tender. That's kind of where
Testicles,
I'm at.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, Frozen, final answer.
What Disney classic does the character Claude Frollo take center stage? You say Frozen, and the correct answer is The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Well, who the hell is Claude Frollo? Ow, bitch. Ow. Bitch. Ow.
Lands a little different when you don't have as much testicle there, huh?
Yeah, right. They just kind of mooshed together. I'm like, ooh, still sensitive.
Fun fact, never seen Quasimodo, so.
Yeah, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I don't think I have either.
I'm gonna have to look. I don't even know if it's on Disney Plus.
You
Really?
figure it would be. Why
There are
wouldn't
some
it be?
because there's some movies they've pulled.
Really?
Yeah.
The classics.
Yeah, like Song of the South and stuff like that. Yeah.
I've never seen that one.
It's not good.
It's an old-ass Disney movie
Yeah.
and racist.
Well, you got a 50-50 shot at this one.
Fantastic.
True or false?
Okay.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. You cannot burp in space. True or false?
Huh? You can't. I mean, your body is expelling gases. What's going to keep it from coming out? And if you can't burp in space, you can't fart in space.
What? How do you connect those two?
Because it's all gas coming out of it, right?
Yeah.
It's all gas coming out of your body, right? And Smart Fart took the elevator, and that's your burp, right?
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's not how it works, dude.
I think that's how it works.
You think a burp is the same gas as fart?
It's close, and
No.
the only reason it smells so bad is because it's got to go through the tubes.
Nope.
That causes all that.
No.
I don't know.
No, they are not the same at all.
Air,
Two completely different created gases.
You cannot burp in space. Say it again, just to make sure I'm right.
True or false? You cannot burp in space.
You cannot burp in space. So space, zero gravity. That's the only thing I know about space. And apparently, if you go up there just a little bit for a little bit of time, you consider yourself an astronaut. You cannot burp in space. You can't. You can't. I don't see any reason why you can't. Because, again, it's just air coming out of your body. So if you can't burp in space, let's say you have some really, gassy space food while you're up there,
It's
It's all processed, so.
Right, and so there's a good chance you're going to have to toot or you're going to have to burp or something, and people would be all fat and bloated, and it would be the loudest burp ever when they finally came back to Earth. It'd be like the burp that's heard around the world. I feel anyway. I'm going to say it's 50-50 shots, so F it. If I get shocked, I get shocked. I'm going to say false. I believe you can burp in space. Final answer.
Okay. True or false? You cannot burp in space. You say false. And the correct answer is true.
This says, yes, you can burp in space, but it's not the same as on Earth. On Earth, when you burp, the gas comes up and the food stays down because gravity helps you keep the food in your stomach. But in space, there's no gravity, so the food and gas float around together in your stomach. If you try to burp, you might burp up food too, like a mini throw up. It's called a wet burp. Ow! Which is also a movie
That's
Lindsay will
nasty.
promote at 9. So astronauts try not to burp unless they really have to.
So
burping in space is risky business.
So you can actually do it. There's a risk to it, but we got to go with what's on the paper.
So I think where the confusion is you think you have no control over burps.
Right.
And I think there's gas leakage and the muscles and the explanation they gave. So
Right.
you can control and not burp.
Okay, I guess. Whatever. Fine. Give me the damn third question so we can move on.
Wasn't that
the third
I think
one?
that was third.
Was it?
We had Quasimodo.
Oh, yeah, fine. Take
Yeah.
the sumbitch off of me. I don't want to go another round
Oh,
anyway.
wait, no. That was only two.
Okay.
God
Quasimodo,
dang, I've already taken it off.
true or false?
I'm not putting it back
yeah,
on.
you are.
Yeah, you are.
Just put it around your neck. It's fine.
Why not?
Yeah, we had the Quasimodo,
Yeah.
the Claude, and then we had the burping one.
Yeah, and so it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I am ready for it. I'm not ready yet, but yeah.
Right. Well, because I guess, I don't know why, because I guess it took so long. Lindsay's read the question. She's already annoyed. So that means it's going to be something like, what gear motorcycle does Gimpy drive?
Why not put that in? That
Trick
makes
question, because there's more than one.
Right, that's
right.
true.
All right, third and final question for Gimpy.
Name the pint-sized yellow sidekicks in Despicable Me.
Let me get the shocker ready.
Pint-sized yellow sidekicks. Banana. Ooh. The claw. No, those are the aliens, right? Yeah, the claw. I love. There's a video out there. A guy opens up a dumpster, and there's like, I don't know, at least 40 raccoons in the bottom of this dumpster, and they all look up, and then you hear the claw. Anyhow, Minions. Final answer. Or the Minions. Final answer.
Name the pint-sized yellow sidekicks in Despicable Me. You say Minions. Minions is the correct answer. Nicely done.
All right, we got to take a break. We're giving away beer. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? Case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. We're going to give away beer coming up and be listening for that cue to get qualified for CML 2025.
Tulsa's Morning Show. The Big Mad Morning Show. The assault continues next. 97.5 KMOD.
Call now. Win tickets to every concert for the rest of the year.
Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show. The phone number, toll free, 833-460-KMOD. That's how you get in on winning beer for Friggin' A Friday. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? Get your text to us answering that question, BMMS, and whatever that is, to 82945. And we're qualifying people for CMall 2025. And we just qualified
Zach Vaughn.
Congratulations, Zach. Another chance coming up very soon. Make sure you're listening for that cue to play. It's all brought to you by Yingling Flight. Chance to see every concert KMOD is a part of, including VIP Weekend Rocklahoma tickets. Lindsay is strapped on for the shocker.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so here is your first question. There seems to be a theme.
Oh.
Which Disney animated undersea movie features the evil Manta? Which Disney animated undersea movie features evil Manta?
Evil Manta. The only evil undersea I can think of is The Little Mermaid. Final answer.
Which Disney animated undersea movie features evil Manta? You said The Little Mermaid. The correct answer, we'll have to debate to see if you got it right, is The Little Mermaid 2.
There's a sequel?
I didn't know
There's
that
a
either.
Sequel?
I didn't know that either.
Okay. I mean, technically, it has to be what's on the paper. She got most of it right, but we're all stunned that there's a sequel to Little Mermaid. It probably didn't do well, and it probably sucked because of the evil Manta.
So hold on there before you click it, because I want to. If there's no, if there's the characters in both, then I think it doesn't matter if it's Little Mermaid 2.
Okay, well, yeah, you're going to have probably Ariel, but didn't the evil witch down, what's her name again?
Ursula.
Didn't she die at the end? Yeah, they killed that bitch off at the end of the first Little Mermaid, I think, which makes sense if there's a new one called Evil Manta. They're like a new evil has to rise up out of the bottom of the ocean to be the new bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a 2.
I've never.
There definitely is one in 2023.
Okay. But that was like
The
live
live-
action
yeah.
remake or whatever.
Okay, 2000, The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. With cast, I'm looking. I don't see an evil Manta.
Well, what do you got there? Or just Google Evil Manta and see what comes up out of that, I guess.
Okay, yeah. Okay, hold on.
Oh, man. this
Evil Manta,
trigger fingers get
or
really
just
itchy.
Manta, is a major antagonist who appears in Disney's TV series The Little Mermaid. Although it's unknown how old he is, he's believed to be It doesn't say anything about a movie. I'm going to have to say Lindsay doesn't get shocked on this. Because I don't know whose this is. I don't know whose question this is.
Wasn't
That's
mine.
Probably mine. Who knows?
But
Okay.
it doesn't look like there is an evil Manta in The Little Mermaid 2 Return to Sea. And I'm going back to The Little Mermaid, the original one from 1989.
I can't believe that was an 89 movie. I thought it was always 90s, like early.
Really?
Yeah.
Keep in mind, Toy Story came out 4 years after this.
God
Can't
dang.
even.
Yeah. But I'm looking. Ursula, Flounder, Scuttle, Triton, Grimsby, Seahorse. I do not see a Manta.
Okay. Manta Ray.
Yeah, it's not on here. So it's definitely not in 1.
Okay.
And she said 1. I'm
Right.
just sorry, I'm thinking out loud.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
She didn't say 1. It's not in 1. It's not in 2.
Listen.
She said 1.
Uh-huh.
She said, I'm sorry, you said
yeah.
The Little Mermaid.
Right. But what's on the paper is The Little Mermaid 2.
But doesn't exist.
Right. Apparently somebody thinks it does somewhere because that's how the question was come up with. I'm okay with letting her slide on this one.
Okay.
But if she misses the next one, I'm shocking her extra long.
How about this? We throw the question out.
Okay, and just ask another one?
Yeah, like the question never happened.
You all right with that, Lindsay?
that's fine.
Total,
Does that feel fair?
mulligan?
Yeah.
All right, then. God,
Mulligan.
get this one wrong. Yeah.
A mulligan. Damn you, you gave him a mulligan.
All right, here we go. In The Little Mermaid 2. Not a far jump. Not a far jump.
Oh, no.
What is the smallest fish in the world? What is the smallest fish in the world?
Oh, my gosh.
You're a fisherman.
Crikey, I
woman.
know. The smallest. Okay. So, I want to say a minnow, obviously. But no, a minnow is a minnow. It's not a full-grown fish, right? So,
Okay.
but at the same time, nothing else is coming to me. Could it be? Is it a freshwater fish? Or oh man. So my husband's favorite fish is very small, but I don't think that it's got a very clever name.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that is it. Is it? I'm just going to say a minnow final answer only because I can't think of anything different.
What is the world's smallest fish in the world? You said minnow. The correct answer is the dwarf fish.
Huh.
That makes sense.
Never heard of it.
Dwarfs are small.
Yeah.
I was thinking guppy for whatever reason, but is that a type of fish or is that like just a baby fish or that? But guppy was what was jumping up in my head there.
Question 2.
Yeah.
What is the best-selling copyrighted book series of all time? What is the best-selling copyrighted book series of all time? You claim to be a reader. I'll say this. You know this. I'm confident you know this.
Yeah.
I don't think she's got it. I think she's going to get shocked again.
No, I don't. I do believe it is the Guinness Book of World Records. Final answer.
Feels like a question she would ask.
Right.
Is it your question?
I think it is.
What is the best-selling copyrighted book series of all time? She said the Guinness Book of World Records. The correct answer is the Guinness Book of World Records.
Copyright is where you got it. Right. Because isn't like the Bible the most selling book in the world or whatever?
That's what they say.
Yeah. But it's not copywritten.
But is it the Old or the New Testament?
It's all
Question
combined.
3.
Oh, jeez.
If a backyard is 50 feet long and 20 feet wide, how many square feet in the yard? If a backyard is 50 feet long and 20 feet wide, how many square feet in the yard?
Do you know how to get square footage, Lindsay?
Yeah.
'Cause I don't.
Hold on a second.
If a backyard is 50 feet long and 20 feet wide, how many square feet is in the yard?
1,000? I think it's 50 times 20. I'm going to say 1,000. Final answer.
If a backyard is 50 feet long by 20 feet wide, how many square feet in the yard?
1,000 square feet?
You said 1,000 final answer.
Yeah.
And the answer is 1,000.
Oh,
Good job.
thank you.
Is that your question too?
Uh-uh.
Was that yours?
Oh, hell, I don't know.
I don't remember which ones are we going to start putting like designation
initials?
on them?
Put our initial on there, yeah.
Sign off.
So like we know. All right.
I would never do a math question. Are you kidding me?
Oh, is that the second one? Or
No, that was the third one.
that was technically because she got rid of the first one.
No. That was our fourth one, technically.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're all square, and I want another opportunity to try to shock her again.
What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? A case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. We'll take a break and we'll be back.
Tulsa's Morning Show continues next. The Big Mad Morning Show on Tulsa.
Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show. Toll free 833-460-KMOD. You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. We're giving away beer because it's Friggin' A Friday, of course.
Friggin'.
What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? BMMS and whatever that is to 82945. And Matt is on the line. Hey, Matt, how are you?
Hey, doing good. How are you?
Good, Matt. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for?
Hey, man, that's just running out of toilet paper and not having anything on standby. You know, you get in a hard position. You got to take, evasive maneuvers at that point.
It's like, what is that, Step Brothers? When he runs out of toilet paper and he's in the shower. He's got to clean himself with a bath rug.
Yes.
And then he finally goes and buys toilet paper, and it's that
So
jumbo,
proud.
like 800 pack of toilet paper.
He's so proud.
How many times has this happened to you before you realized you had to figure it out?
Oh, I'd say my late teens, early 20s, probably 2 or 3 times, but that's enough to learn a good lesson from that.
All right. Gimpy, go ahead and tell him exactly what he's going to get.
Nobody prepared me as a child for when you turn a corner and find your girl getting pounded in front of a bus at a biker rally. Enjoy this case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite. Back to you, Colby.
Hang on line, sir, so Gimpy can get your info and appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Listen here, son. There'll be some point in your life where you'll see somebody you thought you were in a relationship with being treated like they're a log on a log splitter against a retired bus made into a tailgating bus.
Somebody's getting tailgated.
And it'll be in that moment you will realize what you need to do is grab the other person's boots and throw them in a lake.
Attempt. And fail.
See, I
Throw
can
him 3 feet.
Here's the problem Gimpy faced probably is I could reach down and maybe grab both boots with one hand.
Right.
Goddamn one-hand Gimpy still getting cursed in more ways than one.
I just ain't got the leverage, man. That's
Right.
why I was never a discus thrower in track. Hey, what are
Damn
you gonna
good
do?
frisbee golfer.
Gimpy hated the presidential fitness test.
Oh, son of a bitch. My mom, this is no lie, because they'd make us go through that. They're like, you got to do pull-ups and you got to do push-ups. And I'm like, yeah, this ain't going to work out, right? And after so many times, my mom's like, she got pissed and she went up to the school, cursed out the goddamn principal and said, he is never going to do this goddamn test ever again. I am tired of hearing about it. Cussed out the principal, cussed out the coach. Oh, it was a great day. After that, of course, I was the singled out kid that watched everybody else do it, and they're all pissed off at me. But I'm like, hey, you don't like it, get yourself a dildo fist. Come on.
I can only imagine being like a PE teacher, and you're just like, I'm just trying to play parachute,
Right.
Nerf wars, and popcorn. And now I got to do this stupid test. And now, like, do I motivate this kid to overcome obstacles? Be that beacon of like, keep writing, Johnny, or just go, you're right, it's fine.
Oh, it gets better, my friend. So as my mom is cursing out the principal and Coach Jackson's in there, right? And I'll never forget old Catfish Jackson. He looked at my ma dead in the eye and he says, I know grown men who can do one-armed pull-ups and one-armed push-ups. She said, he's 12.
Yeah. So stupid. And schools had to do this. Here's just some examples why the presidential fitness test was so stupid. It focused on performance, not health. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about helping kids get healthy. It was about seeing who could do the most push-ups or run the fastest mile. If they weren't already athletic, you were basically going to fail. Mm-hmm. It embarrassed a lot of kids. Yep. You had to do the test in front of your whole class.
Yep.
And if you struggled, everyone saw you be a pussy.
Yep.
I added that last part. It didn't teach you anything. There was no real lesson about how to stay active or eat well. If you think about this, nobody ever teaches you to do a pull-up.
No.
Most people, adults I know, don't even know how to do a push-up
Right.
the correct way. It ignored body differences. What do you think, Gimpy? That accurate?
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Not
Get
every
your
kid.
cripple ass up there and do a pull up.
Not every kid. Because adults can do it, you idiot.
Right.
And not every kid develops at the same pace or has the same body type, but the test expected everyone to meet the same standards. It didn't help long-term fitness. Most kids trained for the test, took it, then went back to doing nothing. It didn't build habits or interest in being active. Yeah, it was a shaming test.
Yeah,
It was.
The presidential shaming test.
Of course. I was wondering who came up with the presidential fitness test. Effing Eisenhower. Of course.
I thought
he
it was
would.
Ronald Reagan.
Nah, man. It says here the presidential physical fitness test was not created by one single person, but rather evolved from efforts of various individuals and organizations over time. President Eisenhower established the President's Council on Youth Fitness in 1956. That son of a bitch. Of course. Of course, in the 50s, you know, where kids were men.
Sure.
Get out of here.
Do they still have to do it?
No. They nixed that a long time ago.
You're
In
welcome, children.
2013. So not that long ago.
Just saying, all you kids don't have to deal with it now. You're welcome. It's because me and my ma.
So now it's replaced by the Presidential Youth Fitness Program, which is more about personal progress and health and not about box bins.
Okay, so I stand corrected. It was Eisenhower was part of it and started all that, but LBJ, Mr. Lyndon Big Johnson, launched the presidential physical fitness test and made it part of national focus on youth fitness. Boy, LBJ just screwing everybody, man. Got Kennedy killed, and now look at what he done.
Right. Yeah, but he loved to tell people how well endowed he was.
Right.
For those who don't remember, it was a 1 mile walk or run, and the goal was to run it as fast as you can. There's always that one kid that would sprint.
Oh, yeah, got to show off for everybody. I'm better than you.
Curl ups or sit ups, pull ups or flexed arm hangs for girls, which technically are not easy. The shuttle run, where you sprint back and forth between two lines picking up blocks. Huh? I blocked that out. I don't even remember that.
I remember that.
I've done a lot of boot camps, a lot of CrossFit things. I don't ever remember doing a shuttle run, ever.
No, I remember a lot of crab walking,
Oh, yeah.
which was never fun for
Bear
a guy
crawl.
like me.
Yeah, that's
Bear
a good.
crawls, yeah.
I mean, yeah. Sit and Reach, which is a movie Lindsay will promote in about 5 minutes. You sit with your legs straight and reach toward your toes on a measuring box.
Yeah.
To earn the presidential award, kids had to score in the top 15% nationally in all 5 again. Nationally. And it was super hard for most kids.
You don't say.
I don't remember ever getting the patch or whatever it was.
I never got anything, but I have excuse. What's yours?
Yeah. You think this belly just got here?
Yeah, right. Been working on this all my life.
Yeah. Hey, fatty. Fat kids are funny.
Former Brave shortstop is in serious trouble with the law. Rafael Furcal was arrested on felony charges in Broward County on Wednesday. Sunrise police say the 47-year-old was charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and throwing a missile into a public or private dwelling. Furcal debuted.
Did you say a missile?
A missile.
Missile.
Yes.
Which is also a movie Lindsay will be promoting in about 4 minutes.
Furcal debuted with Atlanta in 2000 and won the National League Rookie of the Year award. The 3-time All-Star also made stops with the Dodgers, Cardinals, and Marlins. And that's your Balls to the Wall Sports. I'm Lindsay on 97.5 KMOD.
Balls to the Wall Sports is powered by the award-winning service of Groundworks Tulsa. More of the Big Mad Morning Show is next.
Good morning. It's the Big Man Morning Show. Bmms and whatever you'd like to say to the phone number 82945. You can also call us toll free 833-460-KMOD. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Corbin, and happy 34th porn star birthday to Miss Rondé James. You can see this Sunshine State Vixen in Ass Masterpiece 15, Bathroom Booby Bonanza, and Nympho Nurses and Dirty Doctors. She goes by Margot on her OnlyFans and also live streams her gaming skills on Twitch.
Good morning, Gimpy.
Well, good morning, Corbin. If you're a fan of WWE and you would like to meet a WWE superstar, well, I'm going to be out at Cricket tomorrow in Broken Arrow, just right after off of Lynn Lane, over there by the Hideaway Pizza. And I'm going to get you signed up to meet said WWE superstar in June when we do that. So come on by. I'll be there from 11 to 1.
All right, willy-nilly, anything you want to talk about, bring up something new, go back to something. It's your chance to own the show. A couple ways to get your question to us. You can text BMMS and whatever that is to 82945, or feel free to call toll-free 833-460-KMOD. I saw this online, pretty funny. What profession has the freakiest employees and they can't be in the sex industry?
What profession has the freakiest employees, cannot be in the sex industry? Let's clear that up. Obviously, you think pornography.
Mm-hmm.
Do exotic dancers, strippers count as the sex industry? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Anything sexual related. So I would even, if you work at a sex store that sells sex aids.
Like Patricia's or something like that?
Yeah, I would say that
4
doesn't count
convenient
either.
locations, open Monday through Friday, Saturday, open up earlys on the weekends in case you want to get freaky then. Yeah. Okay.
So, like, what industry or job has the freakiest employees? I imagine Lindsay's answer is either going to be a non-answer. No, I'm not saying you won't. I'm just, because I think guys think about this more often.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair. Which job has the freakiest employees?
Yeah, like hospitals, nurses,
You think they have the
doctors,
freakiest? Okay.
Possibly. Yeah, I think guys fantasize about nurses.
Well, yeah, you. Think of it for you. Don't answer for guys. For you. What do you think? Like, from a guy what would be like men who you are attracted to?
Firemen.
You think firemen are the freakiest
Hell yeah.
employees? What'd you just say?
Hell yeah.
They handle large hose.
Exactly.
Yeah, but only every 24 hours.
Yeah, right.
Gimpy?
I am going to say nurses. Having dated one and know some of them, they are some freaky bitches. Freaky, kinky bitches. So, hand down, the hospital. Wouldn't be hospitality, because that's like, hotel workers and stuff. So, yes, medical field workers.
I'm going with hairstylists.
Really?
Used to be in the sex industry.
Right. What about...
Or leasing agents.
I was going to say apartment managers.
Masseuse.
I think that's a misconception.
Yeah, that's just straight from the videos.
I recently got a massage from a 75-year-old man, and it wasn't nothing sexy about it.
Hey, Elmer. Hands to your...
Elmer.
Back.
It was awesome, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was one of the weirdest, like, there was no, like, lit candles or any of that stuff. You get a massage.
Of course not.
He did pressure point massages. So, like, he digs his hand, like, into your shoulder and waits for the muscle to, like, it was amazing.
Yeah, but painful, right?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, at some point, I feel like it hurts and then it starts to alleviate and feel good.
Yeah, I know some people feel that way about massages, and I'm not saying they're not. For me, I find it quite enjoyable.
Did he have hands like he could crack walnuts with them?
I mean, I didn't feel his whole hand. Like I don't remember his hand being completely on my body. It was more of like you'd use a knuckle or his elbow.
Yeah.
And like dig. It was
just fisting you, huh?
After physical therapy, that was recommended that I do this to deal with some of the built-up tissue situations, and it was awesome.
I could use a professional massage. I've never had one. And I feel like with all the tension that's been in my body for 44 years, it needs to be released somehow. So maybe one of these days, I just won't go to like Rainbow Spa or whatever the hell it is that's in the shopping center next
Foot
to
massage slash donuts slash pedicure slash pick up your dry cleaning.
Yeah.
Somebody texted and said, lawyers are the freakiest, especially after they become politicians. That ain't a lie. Somebody said IT computer guys. I'm going to guess you're an IT guy. Ain't no one ever said IT computer guys are the free. I've never heard that.
Nerdiest, for sure.
Everybody wants their IT computer guy calendar. With a bunch of disk drives.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, look at that port, baby.
Starbucks baristas. Waffle House waitresses. Oh,
No. No.
you might get robbed.
For
Right?
real. They need their next fix.
Nobody's like, I'm just going to be a Waffle House waitress till I can get on my feet.
No.
No one says that.
Nope. Or aspires to be one.
If you had a signature platter at a Mexican restaurant, what would it be? So the idea, you own a Mexican restaurant, you're making a signature platter. What would it be, Lindsay?
At a Waffle House?
At a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, Mexican. I'm
Listen,
sorry.
quit writing. Listen.
I'm going to do probably empanadas. Yeah.
What kind?
Beef.
Okay. Gimpy.
Cheese.
I think I'm a huge fan of a chimichanga. That's all I get every time I go to any Mexican restaurant. Doesn't matter which one it is, I'm getting a chimichanga. Here's what I'm doing, though. I am not putting ground beef in that son of a bitch at all whatsoever. All right? I'm more of a steak kind of guy. I don't mind the shredded beef at all, but if you throw some fajita meat in there, like I went to one not too long ago that did, and I was like, this is amazing. And all of them, they're all going to be the machos, you know, where you get two chimichangas. And you get your pico and your sour cream and your guacamole and your beans and your rice. Because there's some places you get just a chimichanga and all you get is beans and rice to go with it. That's it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right. Something about a deep fried burrito just gets me where I need to go.
I'm going to say taquitos covered in Colorado sauce, which Colorado sauce is like a red sauce. It's just a little bit chunkier.
Okay.
An enchilada sauce, but it's a little chunkier. And you got to have rice and beans, of course. And then I would then put a side of flour tortillas with it so you can sop up the rest of the Diablo and beans and rice together.
Okay. I don't hate it.
That's what I would pick. It's a good question, though. We've never dealt with that. El Pastor chimichanga. Really? I think it's an Al Pastor.
Al Pastor,
Yeah.
Which is it's meat and pineapple.
Yeah.
Which is good.
It's real good, man. It's real good. Would you rather have to sing everything in meetings at work or only speak in questions?
That meeting would never end.
Right? I think singing everything in meetings.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Lindsay on that one. Singing everything in meetings, I think, would be highly entertaining.
I mean, if you ask questions, I will be saying less than I would have to sing.
Okay.
So I feel like asking questions would be better. Because, you know, I can go, is that something we want to do? And then you have to everybody has to sing the response.
Okay.
Rather than me being asked that and I've got to come up with a song.
Fair.
But even if you are being asked the question in a song, you have to answer it with a question. So,
Okay. Would you rather have a coworker who is always late or one who never stops talking?
one who never stops talking.
Why?
Because one who never, that's what we do for a living. We talk. So it's really not an annoyance. You're
Gibby.
used to it.
I beg to differ. There's some people out there that I know don't stop talking at all whatsoever, and it gets annoying AF. And maybe that's because I talk for a living, and I'm like, I don't want to talk, and I don't want to hear anybody talk. Just leave me be in silence. However, I cannot stand an unreliable see you next Tuesday. Dealt with that too much in my life. I ain't dealing with it anymore. So I will gladly let somebody just jabberjaw all day long as you're on time and you get your goddamn work done.
I don't disagree. If you're late, I got a cover for you. And if you're talking, that means I'm not. That sounds like a better deal. Yeah, that is being late. Oof.
Oh, yeah.
That'll get me, like, pissed off every single time.
If you're going to be late every day, just don't show up.
Well, the thing is it feels like I take it personal when it's not, but I take it personal.
Right. Well, you're absolutely 100% right. You have to pick up the slack for the person who's not here on time.
What's the best response to F you? So if someone's mad at you and they say F you, what's the best response, Lindsay?
No thanks, you're not my type.
Okay. Gimpy?
Best response to F you. I'm trying to think of something clever, but in the end, usually it's like, baloney, but not really baloney, but you know what I'm trying to say, baloney. But typically if somebody's like, F you, and I'm like, okay. And that's it. That's my best response is just, okay, whatever.
I would probably look them dead in the eye and go, well, what are we talking? Let's get into the details here before I agree to this. Just try and make it more uncomfortable, which usually sets them off further.
Right.
Because they don't mean it that way. Or a good laugh. I like to laugh when someone tells me that. Because I feel like you didn't come up with anything. That's what you went to?
Right. How original.
You had a chance to really cut me down and you went with that? If you had to live the plot of any animated movie, which one would it be?
Ooh.
Any animated movie. We were talking about Toy Story earlier. And as an only child, I played with my toys an awful lot. So I'll take Toy Story. I wouldn't mind being the female version of Andy.
Gimpy.
That's a lot of animated movies out there to choose from, but I'm going to go with what came to mind first, and that's Aladdin. Because you get the magic lamp and the genie and the 3 wishes. Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
Any Barbie animated movie.
Okay. Because they're all cute?
Yes.
And you're Ken, or would-be Ken.
Sure.
But we all
I'll
know
take crumbs.
Ken doesn't have a penis.
Well, Barbie doesn't have a vagina, so I don't know what we're talking about. It's also an animated movie.
Okay.
I'd rather be around somebody attractive that I think is attractive than dolls.
True. Jasmine was pretty hot, and get to fly on a magic carpet.
Jasmine was probably one of the hottest princesses.
Which is a movie Lindsay did not mention at 9.
Right.
What horror movie, not horror movie, would make a fun musical?
A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger. They already have a song in that movie. So just add to it.
Okay.
The Human Centipede. I think would be a great musical.
Second verse is the one you'd have to watch out for.
I can already picture a musical of Nightmare on Elm Street. Marilyn Manson, Sweet Dreams in the soundtrack.
I don't know if it counts as a horror movie. It's definitely a thriller. Some people call it a suspense horror movie. The Shining.
Okay.
Yeah, that works too.
Here's Johnny, his persona. It wouldn't be a far jump for him to, go into a musical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Knocking on the doors, breaking it open with an axe, chasing him through the maze.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yes.
Somebody needs to work on that.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
Don't ruin it. All right, here we go. Marry, bang, kill the Nicki version. Nicki Minaj, Nikki Glazer, and Nikki Sixx.
Ooh.
Marry, bang, kill, Lindsay.
Man, okay. Man, that's actually tough. I'm killing Nikki Sixx. I don't find him attractive at all. Nikki Glazer is funny and hot. I'm gonna marry her. Pretty sure I don't know if she has as much money as Nicki Minaj, but she's got enough money. And Nicki Minaj, I'll bang her because she's got some hips that don't lie. She's got a lot of junk in the trunk. She's hot, but I don't like her voice, so just a one and done deal.
Gimpy.
Yeah, I'm totally banging Nicki Minaj for that big old donkey butt of hers. Faux show, 100%. Yes, Nikki Glazer is hilarious, I think, and she's cute, so I'm totally marrying that one. And I'm not down for gay sex with Nikki Sixx. So sorry, Nick, you gotta go, man. Although partying with him would be fun.
I don't think he parties anymore.
I was going to say, is it current Nikki Sixx or like back in the day Nikki Sixx?
I think he's been more sober longer than he has ever not sober.
Like, I could get down if it was like old Nikki Sixx, like, in his prime, I'd be like, okay, well, maybe we could get married and just party our little asses off. But if it's now, sorry, dude, you're dead. You're dead.
I mean, of the battle of Nickies, Minaj and Sixx are the most wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Sixx is the most wealthy.
Right.
And I didn't look him up. I'm just going off assumption there. I can't imagine Nikki Glazer has a ton of. I mean, I'm sure she does well, and she has built quite the empire for herself, but not like Nikki Sixx and not like Nicki Minaj. So I'm definitely banging Nikki Glazer. Like,
okay.
I think she's cute. She seems like she would be fun. I can't imagine dating a comedian's awesome.
Right.
Think they got to be on all the time and everything has to be funny?
I just think they're a little neurotic.
Okay.
And you don't know what's going to make it into the show. And so, yeah, I think that's a good one. And then I'm definitely killing Nikki Sixx, although he's awesome. I think he's cool. Like, no.
Right.
And then I'm marrying Nicki Minaj. I'll gladly be her number 2. She is a tough, strong, business, professional-minded woman.
Mm-hmm.
She gets it done the way she wants.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't conform to the female role in a male world.
Right.
And she gets it done. So, yeah, I'll gladly be her number 2. I'll be in the shadows. That's fine.
Well, you're
Make your
gonna
money
be with that big ass of hers.
Oh, sir, who cares? I'm not an ass prude. Like, big or small, I don't care.
Nor am I.
All right, we got to take a break. We're giving away beer. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? A case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours.
The Big Mad Morning Show returns next. Tulsa's Morning Show, 97.5.
Good morning. It's the Big Mad Morning Show. Toll free 833-460-KMOD is the phone number. You can also text BMMS and then what you want to say to 82945. We're giving away beer. We've been asking people to share with us what's an adult problem nobody prepared you for. Case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite could be yours. And Josh is on. Hey, Josh, how are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Great. What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for?
Having multiple kids in sports and all the costs and the logistics of it.
I don't know about you, Josh, but when I was little, I definitely played sports, but I played one sport a season and played basketball. I never traveled. I played baseball. We never traveled. We just played in town at different ballparks. And now it feels like every kid travels crazy distance. My kid in third grade traveled an hour away to cheer.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter's in fourth, and she plays travel softball, and then my son plays soccer. So I'm on the softball field, and my wife's on the soccer field. So we're in two different places on the same day, and then we meet up at home in the evenings.
Some of the best videos I've seen on like TikTok are like baseball coaches are like, all right, start of the season. We're going to start in Mongolia, and then if we win that game, we're going to head on over to Africa and play, Canada. And if we hit that tournament, then we go for the weekend. It's crazy how much traveling.
Luckily, we're not that bad. We stay within an hour or two of home, so it's not too bad.
Yeah,
but you get new jerseys in the spring, and they outgrow them by the fall, and it's just a constant rotation of costs.
Yeah. I have a buddy, his son played travel baseball from like junior high all the way through high school, and he bought a fifth wheel, and he would just take it and prop it up wherever they were. And then in between games, or if it rained, he would just go in there. That's where they ate. He just tried to make his life as comfortable as possible.
It's the way to do it.
While they were traveling.
Yeah, I'm not that dedicated.
Yeah. Is your kid good, though? Because if your kid's not good, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, she's pretty good. She's pretty good, and the team's good, and they all play well together. So it's worth it for us.
That's good. Gimpy, tell him exactly what he's going to get.
Nobody prepared Lindsay for the years of back pain she would endure from carrying around those massive mummy milkers all day. Have a case of 50th anniversary Miller Lite. Back to you guys.
Hang on the line, friends, so Gimpy can get your personal info and have a fantastic weekend.
Thanks, you guys, too.
Appreciate you, man. Jury duty is one that people text in. Nobody explained to them the adult responsibility of jury duty. I mean, I don't remember it being explained to me, but I believe in school it was taught to me.
Right. They tell you about you have to do it if you get called up.
Sure.
I haven't gotten called up yet.
Me either.
Mm.
Kevin's done it once, and he thought it was the best time ever. He loved it.
Is it just because you get out of work? Or?
No, he loved it. He got to be like the foreman, and he loved it.
I've never done it. It does sound like a good time. I'm not lying.
Yeah. He came home and he was like, I think I missed my calling. I should have went to law school.
Well, that's not a jury.
I
know. Another one that texted in, how often people lie on their resumes. No one prepared them as an adult that 100%.
Yeah.
I forget who we had this conversation with, but if you can just tell people you went to school somewhere.
Sure.
There's no way to check.
Nobody checks.
Now, if you're a doctor or a high-level position of something, I could see them checking.
Right.
Yeah.
But no one has ever asked me for my resume. Not once.
Right. I think like if you have to have a certificate like doctor or a license or something like that, yeah, it's hard to fake that on a resume. But
I mean, the license, you would assume that they go and check you in the medical board database for the state.
Right.
You assume that.
You'd think that.
But that doesn't mean they do.
Right. And anybody, I guess, you can print one off, just get it off the internet, put your name in there.
Well, who was that Dr. Death out of Texas who claimed to be like the back doctor? And didn't he forge most of his education documents?
I think it's different when you have a practice that people come to and they just believe you rather than working in a hospital.
Yeah.
I think you're right, but I think it's a different type of thing. You just assume because they have a certificate on the wall
Right.
or they open a business that they are. I don't think there's any enforcement agency that goes around and checks doctors to make sure they are doctors. Until it's usually a reactionary based system. So like when someone complains, then I think they investigate. I don't think the medical board has a policing, if you will, agency that goes out there. Another one, classic one I expected to see was checkbook. Nobody teaches you how to manage a checkbook. Okay.
We were taught that in school.
As was I.
Yeah.
I mean, we did math, but we were never taught what to do when like it's off. Right? We were given the checkbook and like practiced, but it was just math. There was never a like, hey, sometimes it's not going to match. Here's the way to go and find the error.
Right.
You know?
Something you learn later on.
And you could add money situations to a lot of them. How to handle your 401k. Pretty common thing a lot of people have. Nobody really know, like, when is the right time to move stuff around?
Sure.
How do you respond when the market responds? Maybe you want a super slow moving portfolio, or maybe you want what they call aggressive. I don't know if it's the right term, but compared to the other, it is, where you take a ton of chance. So the up and down, you see what I'm saying?
Scary.
Like nobody ever, I had to self-teach myself how to manage that.
Right.
Yeah.
Some other ones that came in is crippling depression. I mean, just mental parts in general. I don't think people we've never talked about like, hey, what you tell yourself, your inner voice, is really important.
Yeah.
Now, it was never explained to me.
No.
And nobody ever told me that, like, if you need help with that, good luck. Because you'll be shamed and the system isn't designed to navigate it.
Right.
Here's a great one. How to deal with toxic managers at jobs.
True that.
Yeah.
Or just toxic people in general.
Right. Right. I mean, to identify toxic people.
Yeah. That's
to
one of those.
Gaslighters.
You don't know that until it's way too late.
Another one that somebody texted in, how to be a father. Right? We've talked about this kind of on the air before, and that is you just father like you were fathered.
Right, exactly.
Or you do the opposite.
You try to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Eventually, what you know comes out. What you've been shown comes out.
You can be conscious that, hey, I shouldn't hit people, but you may have non-physical abilities that correlate with that person, that personality. Having to figure out what's for dinner for the rest of your life. No one told me how hard this would be.
Yes. Amen.
You got to think of what to eat first. You got to make a list and go get the stuff. Then you got to cook it.
I don't know if anybody heard it, but Lindsay's audible sigh just a second ago almost overshadowed Gimpy talking.
Is it that bad, Lindsay?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is.
How much, let's get into this for a second. How much of that do you think you're responsible for making it hard?
Listen, it was a lot harder when they were a lot younger because they were
yeah, right.
Be a lot pickier. They were a lot pickier of eaters, so I felt like almost like a shorthand cook.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But now it's just, and now it's harder because the schedule is so much busier. Everyone's got something different going on.
So it's not about planning dinner. It's just like what to eat. It's when. Really.
It's finding the time.
Yeah. It is hard, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I've just accepted it's a challenge, and that's the end of it.
And people say, like, oh, crock pots, they'll be your best friend.
Oh, God,
I'm not
no.
a huge fan of crock pot meals. That's the problem.
I mean, I think crock pot meals have a time and place.
Sure.
But to eat a crock pot meal every day?
No, I can't do it.
It's a lot of stewed food.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of shredded chicken.
Yes.
Which is texturally so disgusting.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but planning meals, I think the hard part too, for me in the beginning was trying to please everyone. And I finally went, I don't care.
Yeah.
No.
That's me now.
If you don't like it, you'll figure it out.
Try it. And if you don't like it, you don't want the mushrooms in there? Pick them out.
I'll try to appease.
Sure.
Right? Like, because as someone who grew up eating, my parents had stuffed bell peppers on the rotation, and I didn't like stuffed bell peppers. I don't want that. Like, if you don't like mushrooms, okay, I'll make it without. But if I make it and without mushrooms, and then you're like, well,
Right.
good luck.
But you're not also making 4 different types of meals.
I mean,
for everybody.
that's still, no, I'm not making 4, but I am making like different meals for the kids.
Right.
Right? Why not have what you want? Who cares?
Right. You can't have chicken nuggets all the time.
Here's the way I look at it, because I know some of you are like, why do you make different meals for your kids? Because they're going to grow up and I won't get to. And then they'll have to figure it out on their own. They're going to be adults much more longer than they are under my umbrella. So you'll get to figure it out.
Yeah, it's kind of like when they say don't let your kids sleep with you. My kids really didn't, but if they watched a movie or something that scared them, like, can I sleep with you in your bed tonight? Sure, I would let them. And people,
that's a hard line for me.
Right. What are you going to do when they're 35 and they're like, I watched a
They
scary
don't do
movie.
it anymore. They haven't in years, because eventually they're not going to ask.
Yeah.
They're not. You know, you think about, like, there's going to be a time where that was the last time you picked them up.
So, like, at a certain point in time, kids have to take care of their parents, and sometimes they put them in a home, and sometimes the parents move in with them. Is it acceptable for the parent to go into the kids' room? Can I sleep with you tonight?
I think if you're scared.
Right.
They don't, my kids, I consider the bedroom a very special place. And I don't mind if they come there. We've watched TV in bed before and all that stuff. But if they're scared, I'll come sleep in your bed.
Right.
Because getting you back to your bed sucks.
Right.
When I can just get up and walk. Like, if I wake up and you're asleep, I can get up and just go back to my bed. So many people text in on adult problems nobody prepared for. The reality is none of us are prepared, apparently. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back.
You're listening to the Big Mad Morning Show. This is Tulsa's Morning Show, 97.5.
Maggie of Owasso heard the cue, so congratulations, Kyle. Another chance is coming up with Mel. Make sure you listen for Maiden and Run to the Hills about 11:30 with her. Be the correct caller and you get qualified. See 'em all 2025, brought to you by Yingling Flight and 97.5 KMOD. We'll start with Lindsay. Lindsay, what'd you learn today?
I learned that it's a dwarf, not a midget fish. It gets offended.
We're a
It's
little
the
fish.
smallest in the world. And I also learned that a 75-year-old man made Corbin feel amazing.
Gimpy, what'd you learn today?
Well, I learned that fat kids are funny. I also learned to have somebody shank you in January early so you can meet your deductible for the year.
I learned if nominative determinus, if nominative determinus is a thing, well, Michael Hunt would like a word. And I also learned that it's The Little Mermaid 2. Wait, it doesn't exist? Oh. As Corbin say, make sure that dishwasher is loaded right.
It's Lindsay. Stop tracking my cycle.
This is Gimpy, and I'm sorry.
Thank you. Far too kind.